The Galactic Unity Tournament was the greatest event in the known universe, a place where the strongest warriors from countless worlds came to prove themselves. For years, humans had entered and, without fail, crushed every challenge thrown at them. Their victories were not just wins, they were demolitions. They adapted faster, fought harder, and refused to quit no matter the odds. This year, however, the grand announcer's voice echoed across the colossal arena with shocking news. Humans are not allowed to compete. The official reason was to keep the competition fair, but everyone knew the truth: no one wanted to face them again. Yet, the twist that followed silenced even the loudest voices. Instead of competing, humanity had been declared the grand prize of the tournament. The champion who emerged victorious would win an alliance contract with Earth. Across the galaxy, whispers and uneasy laughter spread. Some saw it as an honor. Others saw it as a trap. In the stands, the humans sat calmly, watching the fighters below with quiet smiles, their eyes sharp and calculating. They were not competitors this year, but there was something in their gaze that made even the fiercest alien warriors feel as though the real game had only just begun. The opening matches thundered across the arena as alien champions clashed with skill and fury. But every few moments, their eyes wandered to the stands where the humans sat. They were not cheering wildly like the other spectators, nor did they flinch at the sight of blood and broken weapons. Instead, they watched with an unsettling calm, as if measuring every fighter, calculating strengths and weaknesses like hunters stalking prey. Among them sat Captain Miles Carter, a decorated veteran whose quiet presence seemed louder than the roars of the crowd. His posture was relaxed, almost casual, but his eyes told a different story: sharp, focused, unblinking. The alien warriors began to whisper among themselves, realizing that these were not passive prizes waiting to be claimed, but predators disguised in fine clothes. Some fighters avoided looking their way, feeling a chill crawl up their spines whenever they caught a human's gaze. The matches continued, but the thought hung heavy in the air. If this was how humans behaved as spectators, what would it be like to stand beside them or against them? The more the tournament advanced, the more it felt like the real danger wasn't inside the ring at all. It was watching from the seats. Round after round, the tournament pushed the galaxy's strongest to their limits. Victories were celebrated with cheers, but those cheers often faded when the winners remembered what awaited them. The prize was not gold, not land, but humanity itself. Some fighters began to hesitate, glancing at the humans in the stands as if trying to read a hidden warning in their calm expressions. Stories of human history played in their minds, battles fought against impossible odds, survival on worlds others called uninhabitable, turning defeat into triumph through sheer will. These were not myths, they were recorded facts that every warrior knew. One insectoid champion, blood still dripping from his claws, whispered to his comrade, "We fight for glory, but we may win a storm we cannot control." The thought was chilling that victory here might mean stepping into a challenge far greater than the tournament itself. Still, ambition kept them moving forward, each determined to prove they could face what others feared. But as the list of competitors grew shorter, a silent truth became harder to ignore. The real test would not be winning the tournament. It would be surviving the alliance that came after. The final day of the tournament arrived, and the arena pulsed with tension. Two warriors remained: Karath, the towering reptilian warlord whose brute strength had crushed every opponent in his path, and Vale, a sleek, telekinetic master from the Andros Collective, feared for her deadly precision. The crowd's roar shook the air as the fighters entered the ring, each step heavy with the knowledge that this was not just about glory. The winner would claim the most unpredictable prize in the galaxy: humanity. The battle began in a storm of power and speed. Vale's mind force hurled boulders and shattered steel. They clashed again and again, the ground splitting beneath their feet, the air thick with dust and sparks. The duel seemed endless until Vale made a desperate strike that failed, leaving her open for Karath's crushing blow. The warlord roared in victory, lifting his massive claws as the crowd erupted. But the celebration froze when the humans in the stands rose to their feet. Captain Miles Carter descended the steps slowly, his boots echoing in the sudden hush. Karath's fierce grin faltered as Carter's eyes locked onto his. The human's voice was calm, steady, yet carried a weight that pressed against the warlord's chest. "Do you even understand what you've won?" he asked. There was no mockery in his tone, only a quiet challenge. Around them, the other humans watched without moving, like predators judging the worth of a challenger. In that moment, Karath realized this was no trophy to claim. It was an invitation or perhaps a warning. Winning the tournament had been the easy part. What came next would decide if his victory was truly worth the cost. Karath had expected celebration, honor, and the admiration of the galaxy after his victory, but instead he found himself standing at the docking bay of a human flagship, feeling as though he had stepped into a storm. The humans greeted him not with bows or applause, but with nods and sharp measuring eyes. Captain Miles Carter led him aboard, his calm voice giving crisp instructions as they prepared for their first joint mission, a rescue operation in the dead zone of a collapsing star system. From the moment the ship launched, Karath began to understand why humanity had been banned from the tournament. Every crew member moved with unshakable focus, turning chaos into order as if danger itself was just part of their daily routine. Alarms blared, hull plating groaned, and the surrounding space twisted under the pull of the dying star, yet the humans never slowed. Engineers fixed failing systems seconds before they failed completely. Pilots threaded the ship through collapsing debris fields with impossible precision, and soldiers stood ready for threats no sane warrior would face. Korath, who had fought in hundreds of battles, realized he had never seen such relentless resolve. There was no panic, no hesitation, only a shared, unspoken promise to win, no matter the cost. By the end of the mission, they had saved not only their target, but also 2 alien vessels that had been caught in the disaster. When the ship returned to safe space, Carter finally turned to him and said, "Now you see. We are not a prize to be claimed. We choose who stands with us." In that moment, Karath understood the truth. Humanity had never been the trophy. They were the force that decided the game, and they had chosen him not because he had won, but because they believed he could survive standing beside them. It was then that the warlord realized his greatest battle was no longer in the arena. It was here, among these quiet predators, earning the right to be called their ally.